Morning, Council. We'll go ahead. Looks like we can go, and so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Thank you very much for joining us this morning at our City Council work session. We'll go ahead and get started. Connie, could you please call the roll?
Adamson.
Here.
Bray.
Here.
Cheatham.
Okay.
Cheatham.
Here.
Lurick.
Here.
Ortega. I see her, but I think she's muted. Stevens.
Can I be heard?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay. Here.
Here. Okay, thank you. We'll move to agenda item number 2 is Bannock Development Corporation update. Mia Kate Kennedy, Bannock Development Corporation BDC Executive Director, will be present to give the council an update on BDC's activities and achievements. And Mia Kate, and I see Jim Johnston there as well. Jim, is Mia Kate with you?
Yes, she is.
I'm here.
Fantastic.
What we concluded to do is I will bring the council up to date in terms of what's going on with Bannock Development. Then I'll turn it to Mia Kate. She can finish up and answer any questions that the council may have. Would that be acceptable, Mr. Mayor?
That will be perfectly fine. Before you start though, I just want to welcome Mia Kate to the area and congratulate her in her new position as the Executive Director at Bannock Development. It's exciting to see her, and so it'll be exciting and good for the council to hear a little bit about you, Mia Kate. So thank you. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you so much. Let me talk about what I think is probably the biggest deal affecting the city of Pocatello. All of you see these big double stacked container cars on the trains. As they go east, they contain tennis shoes, televisions, gadgets, primarily from China. When those container trains go west, they are empty. The great thing that is happening is we have a company called Savage that wants to establish what we call a transload facility here in Pocatello. Those container cars will stop and be unloaded here and then filled with produce, products, and things from our area. For example, all of you know that Driscoll and the top hay company compresses that hay, alfalfa hay here, and they've been sending it to Salt Lake to put on a train. They'll be able to stay here in Pocatello, put them on the trains here. Potatoes, corn, all kinds of products that we have will go on these trains and go directly to the ports in Seattle and Portland, and then go primarily to the Orient. So transload is really a big thing for us. For example, one of the conversations I've had recently is with Tevis Vance, who is the plant manager at Great Western Malting. He indicated to me that Great Western Malting's facility here will be able to double in size because of the transload project. And so that'll mean more acres of barley that'll be able to be farmed, more trucks, more jobs. It'll be a very positive for our area. So to me, that's the biggest thing. I'd like to also bring you up to date a little bit in terms of Frigitech. All of you know that Frigitech is approximately a 288,000 square feet freezer. In addition to the freezer space that they're going to have there, they've recently concluded that they're going to put a French fry or a food processing line primarily dealing with French fries there. They had originally said they were going to have 90 employees there. With this processing line, it will be increased significantly. I can't stress how exciting it has been to work with these people. Our city employees have been awesome. in terms of making it possible for Frigitech to be where they are. They have let loose with the bidding process, the final bids for establishing who the team is that's going to build this facility. Those bids have to be back in by the 21st of December. And Frigitech wants to be constructing that facility as soon after the first of the year as that team of contractors can get going on the project. So it's really interesting. Now, why did we get Frigitech? The contact originally came from a convention, essentially, that John Ragetz went to. He was able to build that up and get these people excited about coming here. But the beautiful thing is that there's been tremendous cooperation, starting with the mayor and all the way through the city employees, Merrill Quayle, the legal department, others, the airport staff have made it possible for these people to feel comfortable and be excited about being in Pocatello. I think it's really important to know that that airport location where they're leasing the ground and then building a permanent building, that lease could last about 50 years. And so it's good income for the city coming off of that, but it's affordable so that Frigitech could build that first-class building that they're doing. The cooperation with the university is really tremendous there because there will be some specialized training that's going to have to take place, and the university is going to help with that training. But these people found our environment very, very positive. They are very concerned in terms of their employees, and so the wonderful infrastructure is great, but the environment for their employees is also very, very important. It's a first-class facility that's going to make a lot of difference. But that team effort from everybody at the city really make a big difference. Well, there's so many other things that are happening. For example, recently we had a request for information from a food processing plant. We put all of the information together, sent it off to the Department of Commerce. We don't know whether we'll get that, but it does mean several hundred jobs. We've been working with two large manufacturing companies, and one of them confirmed to me, Kate, last night that they're definitely coming. And so they're very excited about that. The other one is 95% positive coming. So we're really, really excited about the things that are coming. But probably the more important thing is for you to realize that 80% of the growth that comes to a community comes from the retention and expansion of our existing businesses. And so part of the mission of Bannock Development is to work with the existing companies, and that we are doing. For example, there's a little company that's here a little over a year ago, one employee, and they have grown, and now they have 17 employees. And these are people that make batteries for drones. I mean, it's really an exciting thing to see what they have done. And so it's really, really pretty impressive to see what's going on there. Some of the big challenges that we're facing, and I could go on and talk about the things that we're doing, but we have a number of very, very confidential things, so we can't discuss everything. But I think it's really important to know that on the 24th of July, we had a site visit from a company. They looked at some wonderful locations. The site that they liked the best was not a property that was listed, but we were introduced to. They wanted $2,000 an acre for that property. When this company expressed an interest in it, they shot that price to $40,000 an acre. Now, it's not our tax structure that keeps people coming. It's greed and things like that that keep us from being as competitive as we need to be. So I want everyone to know that Bannock Development is doing everything they can, but it's the great cooperation with all of the people that are involved that are making the difference in what the future holds under Mia Kate's direction for us really growing economically. I think it's important for all of you to realize that we have probably one of the most outstanding boards. We have 31 people on that Bannock Development Board. They're really great people. And as the last 2 weeks, I've been introducing Mia Kate to the members of the board. She's been very impressed with the quality of the people that are there. We've got lots of nice things happening. Northgate, there's some announcements that are going to be made fairly soon relative to Northgate that will cause us all to be excited that all of the effort there is paying off. We have a very close working relationship with the INL. Mia Kate's been working closely with people. We have a number of other visits there that we're going to be doing, but our Bannock Development Board of Directors is made up of a lot of really good people. Let me just tell you a couple of things that I think are important for you to know about economic development. Idaho is the 6th best economy in the country. That's according to U.S. News and World Report. We have the 3rd highest projected growth in the country. Our state has the 2nd lowest property taxes in the country. We're in the top 10 of the most tax-friendly states in the country. We're part of that. Every once in a while, there are a number of negative things that happen, but we are still way ahead of most of the rest of the country in terms of our tax structure and other things. How are we doing in various industries? Agriculture is #1 in the state of Idaho. And you know about the ranking of potatoes. We're in the top 3 dairy producing states in the nation. We really rank high with hop production and dried beans and a number of other things. And you're probably all aware of those things. The #2 size of industry in the state of Idaho is technology. And of course, we have that great facility with ON Semiconductor. We met with the leadership of ON this last week, and there are a lot of exciting things happening there. The 3rd largest industry in Idaho is tourism. And we all know how important it is for us to keep our restaurants and hotels and those support organizations going and active, and we have a responsibility to support them being open. I think we need to shop locally. We have some very good things, but we still lack a lot in the way of big shopping facilities. And so those things I think are going to come back as we see some of the wonderful things happening, like with Northgate. We need to support some of the things like our zoo. We have a fantastic zoo. We have these 250 biking and hiking trails around our city. We need to continue to tell people about the good things that we have. Our theater, the symphony, the farmers market. We need to support our local teams, and these things are going to make a lot of difference. Our community has changed in the past. A lot of people think that we're a blue-collar community. Interesting statistics that have just come out. 36% of Pocatello's population, Bannock County's population, is blue-collar. 64% are white-collar. And so I think there's some things there that are really important for us. I think housing is one of the biggest challenges that we have right now, and I just want to give you a couple of things relative to housing. We have record low interest rates right now. I looked at the rates. You can get a 30-year loan for about 4.5%. Some 15-year ones for just hovering over 2%. 80% of all the listings that have come in Bannock County with the local realtor association, 88% of them have sold this year. Investment properties are being purchased by a lot of out-of-state investors, but days on market for all properties are very short. Prices have escalated so far this year. Prices have gone up 16.8%. I think that's a little bit sad because first-time home buyers are being priced out of the market. We need a steady supply of homes. We need our builders to be pounding more nails so that we have more homes. The upper end are selling very attractively to many of the FBI people that are coming in and others. Home values in the last 4 years have gone up 40%. Wages have not kept pace with that, with those home prices. So it's very, very challenging, I think, for people in terms of purchasing. But hopefully those will give you a little feel for what's happening at Bannock Development and economically in our area. I'll move out of this chair and let Mia Kate come in, and we'll go from there.
Jim, it looks like Rick Cheatham has a question, and then Chris Stevens has a question.
Very good. I'd be happy to respond.
Jim, those two employers you talked about that are coming, have they given you any indication yet of how many employees they may have?
Rick, thank you for that excellent question. One of the employers, the one that is most, that is committed, they will be here shortly after the first of the year and firm up on the exact site, and they will be employing about 90 people. So it's a very strong company coming from Illinois, and they are attracted to this community because of where we are located with the interstates and with we have an absolute incredible airport, and that is very positive. As we get more of the FBI people in here and other companies like this, I think it's going to be easier for our mayor to go and get us at least another 1 or 2 flights coming in here. The second of those companies is coming from Oregon. They're coming because they simply are very disappointed in the overregulation that they have. And that's going to be a real big company, and we'll have probably about 150 people with that company. So these are significant employers, but the excitement is really the things that are going to be caused to grow from within.
Thank you,
Chris,
Jim.
I would entertain your question.
Yeah. Good morning, Jim. First of all, nice to see you, and thanks for showing up and being the transition person. I appreciate that. I know that Frigitech, the fact that they're here was because of efforts made by Bannock Development. Was it transloading? What? Tell me that term again, please.
It's called Transload, but the company that is putting that in is called Savage, and they're
Right.
out of Utah.
Okay, so a year ago, this past summer, so a year and a half ago, when the governor was over in American Falls for Capital for a day, he talked at length about this, that the State Department of Commerce had been working diligently on this kind of project for Pocatello, and also and working with the railroad directly, and then also a similar project with whatever railroad is up north. So is that project one that was developed essentially by the State Department of Commerce and then handed off locally? I mean, that's my impression, since he talked about this, a year and a half ago with some, it had been in gear for a while, obviously, because he had a lot of potential details and so forth.
Well, the person that we have been working with is a man by the name of Brig Skoy, and he is let me see if I have his exact title here.
Oh, that's okay. I guess what I really want to know is, was that initial contact, did that come through Bannock Development, or was that a handoff from the State Department of Commerce, to Bannock Development?
Actually, Mike had the contact with Brig Skoy. The governor had been promoting it for a long time. There's no question about that. But Mike Ennis made the contact with Brig Skoy with Savage, And that, of course, was before my time. But
Right.
that it was a cooperative effort, but the real boots on the ground activity came from Mike Ennis.
Right. So it sounds like maybe the initial interest and so forth, the initial conversations happened at the state level, and then it was, handed off. Is that, did this just come out? This had nothing to do with the governor's initiative. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I could even respond to that. The mayor probably could respond better than I can. But this is the thing that we've had a lot of people trying to take credit for things. We are committed at Bannock Development not to necessarily take credit for anything or put the blame on anyone. We are seeing a new era of cooperation so that we work together. For example, we see wonderful things happening between Chubbuck and Pocatello, but the board of directors for Bannock Development says no more I did it experiences. We just want to get out there and bring businesses to Pocatello and strengthen the ones that are here. I don't know. Does that help, Chris, at all?
A little bit. I guess I'm just trying to understand the operational mechanism of how the state and Bannock Development work together, what that relationship is like, and specifically relative to this project.
Yeah.
That's all. So
Yeah,
it helps a bit.
The Department of Commerce has a $22 million budget. And so they are doing some really great things. They have 6 departments
Right.
and with 43 employees. And so we really need them, but they need us because we know where the properties are. When they have a request for a property specification, we're able to help them.
Right. Okay, that helps me understand. Yeah, no,
So-
that helps me understand. And then also, I was just wondering, you mentioned this, the land price issue, the greed,
Yes.
and the other realtors / developers in the area have also mentioned that to me as an issue. And so I'm wondering, what, if any, plans are afoot for Bannock County Development to work with local landowners and help them understand that, basically it's like price points for anything. You can, you want to make a profit, but your price point can actually diminish your profits at the end of the day if it's too high.
Well, thank you very much for those comments. And let me just respond this way. That particular property was not listed. There was not a signed contract. And we've made the commitment that we're going to work with the commercial agents here so that when we present a property, we know it is a firm price. And, we've just got to work smarter. And that particular instance was one where we did not work smart.
Thank you.
Chris, let me answer your question about the transload system. That absolutely 100% positively was not from the state. That was generated solely by Bannock Development. Mike was working with them probably 6 months, maybe 3 to 6 months before the governor started talking about it. The governor's project that he was talking about, he was trying to locate a transload system in the Twin Falls mountain home area, and that never came about there. In fact, the governor was involved with the railroad trying to do that. And when Brig and Mike were working, I made this statement, let me know what we can do. If I need to contact the railroad, what I can do and things like that. What can we get, support? The railroad literally said, we are tired of politicians messing with our business. We will not go anywhere the politicians get involved. So please keep the mayor and governor out of the way so we can do this. And so we respected that. Bannock Development handled that from the start to the finish. And, well, we're not quite to the finish yet, but that's going to happen very soon from what we understand. So that was 100% not from the state.
It
Okay.
looks like February now, Mr. Mayor. It's
Yeah,
moving up.
I understand they're moving it to February, so great.
Okay, great.
Kate.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yep, Mia Kate, it's great to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, thank you, Mayor, and also Council. I'm really honored to finally be here and be in this position. I've met with so many of the board members and business community as well. And I can tell you that just from my assessment, there were many offers that came my way, and I deliberately put in for this particular position. And I can tell you that I feel like I've met my dream team. So I am super excited to work with everyone. They're so talented. And I don't say that lightly. They very much are. I'm so excited to put together some committees to really work hard on the projects that we have coming in. It's very exciting. I did talk to one of the projects that Jim mentioned to last night. We had a very long conversation late at night for him. It was actually about after 9 or 10. His nephew lives in Spokane, so we had a lot in common. And he assured me that one of the reasons why he really wants to come here is because he feels like we will give him the retention support that he was not going to get in the other areas. And we talked about some of those other areas. So it was really great to find out what was on his dashboard as far as wanting to choose Pocatello. I really want to establish a positive and continuous media relationship. I'm a servant leader. I like to lift everybody up. I can take a strong stand, but I really want to be transparent. I feel like my door for transparency, my door is always open. So feel free to contact me anytime with any questions. I think that good working relationship with you and the business members in our community, as well as the community, will be really helpful. I've met with so many people over the last week. I feel like I've been here for about 7 months. A lot has been accomplished already, and I'm hearing what some of our partners and members really want going forward and how I can be instrumental in facilitating that. So that has left me with a really good feeling about what's to come. As well, I've met on several of the partners for Northgate. The Portneuf Health community has mentioned that they want to develop and grow with using our support. And I know Heidi knows this, and maybe the mayor as well, but I have spent over 10 years studying airports. So the airport is really instrumental to me in building good economic development in our area. And I've been out there visiting. I want to go out again. We'll be visiting INL. I was on the phone with them today. So even though I've only today just a little over a week, I've already stepped into the middle of almost all of these projects. I have a good understanding of them, and I'm very, very excited. I can feel the housing pain because I went hotel. I'm in an Airbnb and I'm still looking for a place. So that is something, because I'm feeling it myself, that I can relate to anyone trying to locate here. So I hope that I can work on that end as well. For now, I'm just trying to work with my excellent board and establish what our strategic plan will be for next year. But I can tell you that it will be needle moving forward, and could not be more excited to be here.
Claudia?
Hi, welcome, Mia. I just have a question. I guess, I don't know if you or Jim would be able to answer it, but these companies that Jim talked about a little bit ago, have they indicated what type of pay these jobs that they're bringing would have? I mean, are they $20 an hour jobs? Are they $80,000 a year jobs? Are they $8 an hour jobs? Do you have any idea?
So I'll let Jim talk on that.
Claudia, thank you very much. That's an excellent question. It'll run the full gamut. The company coming from Illinois will only bring 2 or 3 of their top executives who will be in that 80 to 100,000 range. The rest of the people will be hired locally, and they're going to be very, very competitive. They will be union wages for, well, steel workers. And so they're going to be good jobs there. The other people, they're telling me that most of their people are going to be in the $20 an hour range. So they'll be good. This last week, one of the people we visited with was Mary Johnson. And do you realize they have 265 employees at these McDonald's here in Pocatello? 265. And most of those are lower end jobs. And they're going to lose some of their people to these new companies coming in because they're going to be paying much better than much of the things that we have here.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Heidi?
I just wanted to say, Mia Kate, it was so great to meet you the other day and get a chance to talk with you. And we're so glad to have you here. And everyone that I've talked to who has had the chance to meet with you has just been really excited and impressed. And so just wanted to say thank you for being here, and we're excited to work with you.
Well, thank you so much, Heidi. I am so glad that I've had I've had such a warm welcome, and the community is amazing. I've shopped local since I've been here, so I've tried to touch upon a whole community, and I'll just continue to do that my entire time here, and hopefully that'll be forever. I love it here, so I look forward to working with all of you.
Linda?
Yeah, Kate, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate, I welcome you to this community as well. And thank you for hitting the ground running. It sounds like you've had an amazing week already, but I look forward to working with you, and thanks for all your efforts that you're putting in already. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm a really goal-oriented person, but I love planned, really good community growth. And I've been in several cities where that didn't happen and some things turned backwards, but I think everything points really positively for us. And again, I'm very transparent. I'm a servant leader, so I'm excited to work with all the amazing talent here.
I look forward to meeting you in person soon.
Yes, well, reach out to me. I'd be glad to meet you anytime.
Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mia Kate, and welcome to the community. Jim, thank you for the report. With that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next agenda item. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Come here.
Next agenda item is agenda item number 3 is a Police Union quarterly update. Members of the Pocatello Police Union will give the council an update of their activities for the past quarter. So I'm going to ask, we've got a couple representatives here in City Hall with us. So I'm going to ask them to come and take a seat. Council, I'm sorry, you won't be able to see them. Actually, maybe I ought to move and Val can sit right here and you can see Val. Claudia wants me out of the picture, and so I'll move. Val, you're going to come get on TV.
Always smiling. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I'd like to thank everybody for having us here today and for your time and your support. Some things our officers have been involved with in the community this fall. We've been able to give generously back to the community. We've donated $500 this year to the senior center. That's helped those people out substantially. Give the Cops of the Bird resulted in gathering over 200 turkeys. And the union and the department together raised over $10,000 for the Idaho Food Bank. And that's way higher than what we were able to do earlier or last year. The Secret Santa has successfully raised enough money to help at least 15 families in the community that are in need. And the union has also sponsored one additional family to take care of as well. Some other information, due to COVID-19, we've had several members miss work in the last several months. That's put more strain on the other officers and dispatchers and records personnel and everyone else, all the support personnel that we have, put an added strain on them, but we've still pushed forward. We've managed to handle in the upwards of 26,000 calls for service this year. We continue to do what we need to do to make the community safe for everybody. We're very fortunate to have the support of the community, as many community members still come to us and thank us for our support and help and let us know that they do support us. That means a lot to our people, especially in these times that we're going through. We currently have 2 officers in the field training program, 3 more starting the academy. So we're in a constant training mode, it seems these days. That puts an added strain on everybody that's involved. That takes a lot of time and resources to train officers. The training begins with a 6-week mini academy, and then they go into a 14 to 16-week academy, either here or over in Meridian. Currently, this group will be going to the academy here in Pocatello up at ISU. After the academy, they have a 16-week field training program. So a long, extensive training before we can get somebody out on their own taking calls. Currently, our community still has a well-trained and dedicated group of officers, and the community recognizes it, and we appreciate that they do recognize and let us know that continually. And it's imperative that we maintain a professionally staffed department, as again, it's critical to us maintaining our department mission of community commitment. Thank you, and you guys have any questions, and appreciate your support. I might need some help with this.
So we've got a question from Claudia, then Linda, then Chris.
Hi, Val. Nice to see you. I really don't have a question. I just wanted to express to you and to the entire department, and especially to Captain Lacey, my condolences on the passing of K-9 Officer Bart. I know his family is affected by that loss as well. And clearly the department has lost an asset, and it's heartbreaking. And I just wanted everybody that if you could pass it along, that I have been thinking about everybody there and what that means. Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Linda?
Thank you, Val. I also wanted to thank you and the department and all your officers for everything that you do for our community. That over 10,000 for the food bank is just phenomenal. I saw some of the big donations that came in for that, and I am just very impressed, and it shows the support that you all have in the community, and that's due to the relationships that you've built and the work that you do. So very grateful for that. I also wanted to ask you a question about our new EAP program. And I know we just got a new provider for that service, but I was wondering if you guys have had a chance to take advantage of that, and if how your experience has been.
We've had a few people use it and give me some feedback that they really appreciate it, and it seems to be a lot smoother than the other one. The providers seem to be more in tune with critical incidents and stuff that our people are going through that they need the help with.
That's good to hear. Thank you very much. And I also express my condolences to Akila, Officer Lacey, and to the whole department. I know that K-9 Bart was a special member of your family, so that was really upsetting news, and I'm sorry for you all.
Thank you.
Chris,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Yeah, I was, Heather had reported that the EAP program seemed to be working better than the previous one. So thanks, Linda, for asking that question and getting some corroborating, conversation on that. And then also I've had shepherds since I was a kid, and they're just really, really, I mean, dogs are wonderful and shepherds are special. So yeah, please let Aquila know that we get it out here. We can't fix it, but we sure do get it, and empathize with what he and his family and the rest of the department is going through. Because I don't know, shepherds are a cut above humans basically, and they're hard to lose, very hard to lose.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions for Val while he's here? All right, I'm going to go ahead and give Aquila the microphone for a few minutes, and we'll go from there.
I'll do the best I can without crying. The community has been amazing. Reaching out, it was pretty sudden. Obviously, it wasn't expected, but I think it just shows the reach a dog can have. I mean, even though he was a working dog, a professional animal, he touched a lot of people, even people that I may have arrested. You know, I think that he's always provided laughs and help, and so the community has reached out a lot. I know it's been tough. It's been tough for me. It's been tough for my coworkers, but overall, I think he's obviously in a better place, and my family and I will get through it. And I really appreciate your kind words, and so we miss him. I miss him. I'll always miss him. But I think he really did touch Pocatello, and he was kind of the city's pet. So I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of what we accomplished. So thank you, guys.
Super. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aquila.
Thank you. It's great to have a good department and good people working in there. And so just want to thank Aquila and Val for coming in and spending some time with us today. Thank you. We will move on to agenda item number 4, which is building code update. Mr. Bigelow, building code official, will be present to give the council an update regarding proposed amendments to City Code Title 15, Building and Construction, to comply with changes to Idaho Code. Richard?
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Appreciate your time today. Every 3 years, the state legislature adopts the current building codes, and it goes through a long collaboration of through code officials and the building associations and other entities in the construction industry to take the model codes and mold them so they see fit for Idaho. So that got adopted last year in the legislation session. And so the state of Idaho adopted the 2018 building codes, the energy conservation code, existing building code, fire code, and the mechanical and fuel gas codes with those amendments for Idaho. And what we're just coming to you today before a work session is to talk about this, because it's our turn to adopt those so that we can have them in place by January 1, when the state is rolling out the adoptions of the 2018 codes.
Chris, it looks like you've got a question, so we'll go ahead and ask some questions here.
Okay. Hi, Richard. Thanks for being here.
Yep.
Listen, I was part of a Zoom legislative forum meeting, meet the legislators type thing a couple days ago. And one of the concerns that those legislators were talking about is apparently there's been some energy, I don't know how much, but been some energy on the part of some legislators and Idaho legislators to make Idaho's building codes perhaps less stringent in terms of energy efficiency standards. And I don't know anything about, you know, can they do that? Apparently they can, and that's neither you nor I can probably answer that question. But these legislators were concerned about that because the realtors and the banking industry had noted that there could be some real problems with certain kinds of loans, FHA and so forth, if Idaho's energy efficiency building codes do not rise to the standard required. So do we know, it doesn't appear to be a current problem, but how do you track that so that we can be alerted, you know, if because we can have, as I understand it, more stringent codes, not less stringent than the state. So anyway, you know, I hadn't thought about that, and the conversation among the legislators was pretty interesting in that regard. So I'm just kind of trying to get your take on that situation and how you track it, et cetera, and where we are, you know, vis-a-vis what we're adopting now. Are we meeting federal standards, et cetera?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for attending that meeting. I wasn't aware that you were on that. I was on that meeting also with that presentation. And the energy code, as long as I've been in this trade, has been the stickler with the state of Idaho. And the building association, for the most partial of that. They just feel that the code's overreaching. Luckily for us, the builders in Southeast Idaho take pride in their building, and they actually exceed the minimum code requirements for the insulation in the homes and lighting and everything else that energy code requires. Last January, I went down to the state capitol twice when they were having these code hearings to show support for the energy code, because they were thinking about not adopting that code. So it made it through the legislation last year, and it's just going to come down to us reaching out to our local legislature and then just educating and informing them that, hey, you know, this is a good thing. This is something that we need, because if the energy code isn't adopted through the state, and if the state makes it so that we can't adopt it, then there's no way that we can enforce that. So it would be up on the builders to make sure that they're putting insulation in the walls, or that they're putting in a high efficiency furnace and, you know, LED lighting. So, I mean, the codes are important. The energy code, you know, it's not a life safety per se code, but it is definitely a code that affects people's energy bills. So it might be able to save some money during the construction process, but the long-term effect on the owners of the homes that are built, if they're not meeting those code requirements that are currently in place, could be detrimental to the families that are living there due to higher utility costs.
And obviously I can't, you know, I have no authority to give you any directive, but I imagine, knowing that you take pride in the level of work that you do and the quality of your work, but I would be very interested in having you help me stay abreast of this,
Okay.
so that if it becomes an appropriate and supportive gesture, for example, Mr. Mayor, for the council to, you know, to put pen to paper in support of decent energy codes, based on what Richard has just said, you know, that we'll be on top of that, so that we don't end up in a situation where, you know, we've got once again, the lower income first-time homeowners who can't get loans because, you know, FHA, et cetera, HUD won't back them. Fannie
So we
Mae,
have,
whatever.
So we've stood against this and that movement for a number of years. AIC has also stood against it for a number of years. This isn't the first rodeo this year with it, and we'll
Right.
continue to stay on top of it. Roger, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just going to back up on what Chris is saying, because what we build today is what people are living in the future. And Pocatello has had a lot of houses that did not have insulation because they had a easy access through the railroad to coal. And so when you have an easy resource to get coal off the train, with so many railroad workers, they didn't go the cost of putting in insulation. And years later, we've absorbed the calamity, I'm going to call it, of having to readdress all of those needs because times change. So I would really encourage us to keep being an advocate in this regard.
Will do.
We will continue. So we have a question by Claudia and then Rick.
Well, I just have a comment in support as well, because I think that people are very much more environmentally conscious today than, say, they might have been 20 years ago. And I think that homes that are energy efficient are actually what people are seeking. So if we end up not having that type of a structure, we're going to end up having some problems, I think, in the future in selling homes if they're not built up to that code.
Absolutely. Rick, go ahead.
Richard, I read, the list of all the changes and all the different codes. Is there somewhere I can go to see what changes we might be adopting and how that's going to affect construction? I was particularly curious about the fuel gas code. And the other part of my question is, will these changes affect any construction that's already planned in the city of Pocatello?
So the code adoption over the 3 years, there's not major changes to the codes. Normally it's adding a word or changing a graft. And in the 18 building codes, it changed a lot of stuff on the graphs portions. There was also a requirement in the footings that had changed where you only have to do now a 6-inch footing. 2 stories used to require an 8-inch thick footing. And so this one's only a 6-inch now. Is that change? So normally they're very minor changes. Projects that are currently under construction, that won't change them. They will be built under the existing 2015 IBC code for commercial or the 2012 residential code for the houses. From the update classes that I took over a year ago on the significant changes on the 18, they were actually in favor for the builders. It backed off some of the regulations just a little bit. The international fuel gas code, that's basically just for commercial and for pipe sizing, for gas flows for their equipment and all that. Normally everything's designed under the international mechanical code, but the international fuel gas code is just another tool for the architects and designers and engineers in designing buildings to help reach their requirements.
Do you think this will make construction more or less expensive?
Well, right now, that's a really tricky question because the codes don't have any control over what material costs. And right now during COVID, everything went through the roof. And I mean, we saw oriented strand board 7/16 go from $7-8 a sheet to almost 30. It's dropped a little bit, but not tremendously. And now the big problem that we're having is we have general contractors that are waiting 3 months to get windows. and the manufacturer and the sales reps are saying, hey, we don't know when you're going to get them. We don't have the people to work. And guys are starting to wait. Same problem with vinyl siding. One of the cabinet door shops told me here the other day that they're 28 days out where they order their cabinet doors. They can't get them any sooner. And so, the codes don't really drive the price on the materials. That's just an uncontrollable thing that they don't really have.
Any other questions for Richard?
I would like to add one more thing, Mayor. Under the 15.2.010 code adoption, we added language in there that in the future that the city of Pocatello automatically adopts what the state adopts. We have no control over that. We have to adopt it. So it just helps streamline our code adoption process. We still will always have the ability to be more restrictive if that's what the city and the council feels needs to be for the citizens of Pocatello, but that just kind of helps streamline the code adoption process.
So I think that's a good idea, but I think it's more important to make sure that we have the council informed on what's happening with the state code adoptions and things like that. Just for the purpose of understanding where we are and what we're doing. We've had great conversation about concern about a lack of, but we need to make sure that we also keep track of what's happening on the other end of that too. So that would be a concern that I would have, to just adopt it immediately. We need to make sure the councils remain involved and at least informed. We're going to adopt. We just need to, we don't have a choice. We have to adopt, but we need to make sure we're informed.
Most definitely. And I'll if this goes through and you guys are happy with this, then I'm always more than happy at the code cycles to come before you in a work session and let council know the codes that we are adopting and any changes and everything else that is going on.
Sounds good. Looks like Roger has a question.
Mayor, I'm okay with this coming before us at the next city council meeting next week.
Yeah, it will be there. It has to be there by the end of the year. And so we'll have this in front of us next week. So,
okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you. All right, Richard, thank you very much. Oh, Linda, do you have a question?
I just wanted to comment and thank Richard for his diligence in keeping up with all these changes and keeping us informed.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Super. Thank you, Richard. Thanks for being with us. Just before we adjourn, I just want to make the announcement that immediately following the city council work session, the city council will move into a special city council meeting. And so with that, we are at the agenda item number 5. And so I will adjourn what, Roger?
Do we have a special log on for that?
No, we'll stay on. What we'll do is move into the the special council meeting. Then we will let everybody log off. We'll take about 5 to 10 minutes. Let everybody log off and then get back on this.
Okay, and so we can control who's at the next meeting.
Yeah, just stay right here, and then we have control. We'll be able to see who gets on it, and we'll give everybody a chance to get where they need to be. So with that, thank you very much. With that, we are adjourned from our city council work session. I would look for any